Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Vermont in the Waitsfield Inn, the Krishna Conscious Bed and Breakfast. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to snowy Vermont. Last day here with the kids. We're having a good time. You know what we did yesterday, Kaustubha?
Went to a water park.
We did the opposite of going snowboarding.
I know. I thought that was weird. You were up there in the mountains in the snow, and then suddenly you were in.
I was too sore from the first day. I was like sore all over my body. And so there was an indoor water park. And we took them. And I thought, I didn't know if it was going to stink or not. It was great. It was great. There was like a wave machine. They were like surfing. They were doing
unnecessary necessities that we create. You could have been out in nature, but you were in this artificial nature.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was still great.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not trying to.
I'm a stool-eating hog. I could not stop saying. You ever get a phrase in your mind? All day long, I'm walking around going, stool-eating hog, stool-eating hog, stool-eating hog. Because that was, Prabhupada said a stool. But, and I was telling Kelly Skinnergy, who's here, I was telling her, like, it's actually a great word, the stool-eating hog. Because what it is when you get so conditioned to material life, you start thinking the most horrible things are quite nice.
Yeah.
That's what like drug addiction is. The person's addicted to heroin. You say, man, don't do that. I got a bowl of fresh organic fruit for you. They're like, no, want heroin. Please give me the heroin. The very thing that's dismantling your life, your family, your career. You think, no, I want that. That's a great thing.
It tastes good.
So that phrase is actually a great phrase. A stool eating hog.
It thinks its life is great.
Who thinks like this is great? I have fresh food.
Yeah. But someone from another perspective could look at that and say, no, there's nothing nice about it.
It's disgusting. So anyway, this is the conditioning of the material goon. As we sort of get purified by the holy name, by the association, by the Bhagavatam, all of a sudden we lose a taste for our lower palate. Maybe
I think it's you got to get the sweet baby Krishna going again, Raghu, because I think it's by hearing Krishna Leela that we begin to understand that even just like say I live in New York City, right? And of course, in many ways, New York City it's obviously hellish, but in many other ways, like so many people want to live here.
Yeah,
but from the perspective
total illusion.
From the perspective like Goloka Vrindavan, this is total hell. I mean,
total
it's
hell.
like really bad.
Total hell. I got a big apartment.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, what everyone may have here, whatever the things that we're trying to enjoy in this world, it's all so low grade.
It's low grade.
We got to get a taste for that spiritual realm. We got to hear it, and we experience it through hearing about it. And then perspective begins to change, right?
Hey, so we're doing the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then we are on the road to Cali, Columbia.
That's right.
So we're doing the show January 1st. How not do a show January 1st? Mara's like, no, we're busy.
Well, I mean,
I feel so bad. Everybody, it's the first day of the year. They're not going to get the Bhagavatam.
Okay, well, tell you what. Let's think about it. We have a day to think about it. We'll announce tomorrow whether we do it on the 1st.
It's like he seems like that's what you want to do. It's like everybody makes a New Year's resolution. We're like, make a New Year's, but we're not going to do it.
Okay, let's try to do it. Let's talk about it today, and tomorrow we can let people know whether we're on.
Oh my God, it's our anniversary. Bunky Bihari just said.
All right.
It's our 2
Maybe
year.
we could deal with
it's not our first year anniversary. It's a 2 year anniversary. Have we been doing this for 2 years?
This will be it's not today. I mean, we're
January 1st.
January
We started
1st.
this
That
in
would be
2020.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, duh. Obviously. Come on, man.
Did you hear that? Kaustubha, the cultured Vaishnav, just said, duh. He just dubbed me. Did everybody witness that?
Any case, we can decide by tomorrow. We'll announce whether
I'm not offended. Lord Vishnu's offended.
I don't think he was offended by that. I think he was right there with me, like, duh, Raghunath, come on.
A guest host takeover, perhaps.
So let's see if we can do it on Saturday. We'll figure that out.
Okay, this is the year for everybody to tell a friend. Tell a friend about Wisdom of the Sages. Let's all get addicted to the sweet fruits of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the sweet nectarian ambrosial pot of juice, instead of the lower stool-like savories of the material world. Tell a friend.
Okay, Raghu, why don't we start this show?
Yes. Narayanam namaskrityam nuram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesh vabhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome of the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Un Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mara.
Canto 3, Chapter 32, starting at text 27.
All righty. Hey, I want to give a big happy birthday to Gaurangi Priya. It's her birthday today. And her husband is in the hospital, our good friend Gopal Chandra. Our prayers go out to them. We love them. We love their family. And the material world is a roller coaster. And everything, both good and bad, is meant to push us towards getting closer to Krishna. But sometimes material world can be super harsh.
It can be. May she have a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gaurangi.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So we were reading about, this is kind of Kapila wrapping up his teachings to his mother Devahuti. And he was speaking about, first he spoke about, in the beginning of the chapter, attached workers, sakama, karma yogis, people that are following all the rituals and all that, but to get the things of this world, following the Vedic teachings, but to get the things of this world. Then he talked about detached workers, right?
Yeah.
Nishkama karma yogis, people that are working in this world, being responsible, but doing it with detachment, not doing it with any selfish motive.
Yep.
And he described that as a very powerful way of purifying the consciousness of all the false narratives. Right? And then
everybody says that now. Narrative. No one said narrative up to like 2 years ago. Now everyone's like, the narrative. What's your narrative? His narrative. What's their narrative?
Really?
I'm saying that narrative like 3 times a day. Narrative.
Okay.
Are you finding that?
I hadn't noticed that, but perhaps it has increased. Who knows?
It's definitely increased.
All right. And then he talked about the worshipers of Lord Vishnu and time factor, how time's affecting everything but Lord Vishnu. And then if you're worshiping him, then you're also transcending that time element. And he talked about the path of bhakti and how by all the different paths are meant to ultimately lead there. So we pick up here with text 27 where he's talking about jnana. He's talking about knowledge that leads to detachment. which was really the basis of his teachings, right? Sankhya philosophy is what he was teaching. And so now we're going to hear about that. Of course, in the context of bhakti. So hit it, Raghu. 27.
The greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga.
Okay. So there's all these different paths of yoga, and they all cultivate detachment from the things of this world, but they do it in different ways, right? In Ashtanga yoga, it's done through sitting still and going to a deep type of meditation. In Jnana yoga, it's done through analysis. In Bhakti yoga, it's done through by attaching myself to the name, the form, the qualities, the pastimes of Krishna. I naturally automatically let go of everything material.
Text 28. Those who are averse to the transcendence realize the supreme absolute truth differently through speculative sense perception. And therefore, because of mistaken speculation, everything appears to them to be relative.
Well, here's a phrase that's more common now, Raghu. I'll give you this, see if you agree. Like when people say, well, my truth, right? Like my truth.
Well, they've been saying that for years.
Okay. You see, I knew you wouldn't.
No, I don't. No, I'm not saying that it's a thing. They say, well, my truth, that's my truth. That's your truth. That's your truth. But, my truth is this. Like truth is a relative thing.
Right.
Truth is truth.
Right, and you some couple weeks back or something, you were always harping on this point, right? But the idea, what was it that you were always saying? I forget.
You're the guru. Be the guru. You jump on the altar, worship yourself.
Or
that one?
No, I was thinking of. I just had it, and you just knocked it out of my head again.
Sorry,
no problem. But it had to do with everything. Oh yeah, that if there is no God, then everything is relative. There is no good. There is no bad. Right? It's simply a matter of your own individual perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
To even say there is no absolute truth is an absolute statement.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was Aristotle.
Yeah,
I think that was Socrates said that to Pluto.
To Pluto.
The
dog? Disney?
To Pluto the dog. Whenever I try to be sophisticated, I trip on my own feet.
Go right back to the cartoons. So again, those who are adverse to the transcendence, those who have a problem with the conception, particularly in this case of a personal God, right? They realize the absolute truth differently through their speculative sense perception, and therefore, because of mistaken speculation, everything appears to them to be relative. They don't understand there is no truth, actually, right? Everything's relative. Okay.
29. From the total energy, the Mahatattva, I have manifested the false ego, the three gunas, the five material elements, the individual consciousness, the 11 senses, and the material body. Similarly, the entire universe has come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So he's just saying to understand, right? There's a person behind it all, right? If you speculate, you don't come in contact with that person. You don't perceive that person. But if you can understand that everything, and this was the whole Sankhya philosophy that he just gave, he just was saying it all right there. There's the Mahatattva, there's the false ego, the three modes, the five material elements, the individual, these are all the ingredients. They're all coming from this source. Can we perceive him? What will enable me to perceive him? What will prevent me from perceiving him? This is coming up.
You know what? You're right. We got to do more Sweet Baby Krishna. I need a little Sweet Baby Krishna in my life right now.
Right.
You read all these stuff and it's great and it's wonderful, but I need some Krishna sweet stuff. I need some pastimes of Krishna. This can bog you down and get you thinking, overthinking. Yeah. Fighting.
This isn't overthinking. We're gonna.
It's not.
No. This is what's going to help you. This is what helps you. We have to understand what Bhagavatam is, right? It's giving us all of this factual information so that when we get to Sweet Baby Krishna in the 10th canto, we understand who he really is, right?
That's what I mean.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Get there. Okay. This perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment, and who is always absorbed in thought of the Supreme. He is aloof from material association.
Okay, so boom, right? In other words, how do we perceive truth, right? How do we get beyond all the relative and understand what is absolute? Well, this is speaking of the qualities. Detachment becomes very important because detachment, here's the takeaway, right?
Yeah.
Detachment clouds truth perception. I'm sorry, attachment. Attachment does. Detachment reveals it. Right, but
That's a good
attachment,
statement here. Mara, write that one down right now. Say that again.
attachment clouds truth perception.
Truth perception.
Yeah, our
How about
attachments
reality?
prevent us.
What's a better way to phrase truth perception? Reality?
Well-
Attachment clouds
Well,
reality?
I phrased it that way because I thought it's more descriptive of like the process that's going on, right? Can I perceive truth? Right? Can I?
How about
well,
perception? Attachment clouds perception.
yeah,
Attachment
I mean that's there.
clouds truth perception.
I liked it the other way, but if you can take it any way you want it, Raghunath.
I can take that, run with
make,
it.
Make your own shirt. With
I'll
it.
make my own.
Yeah, but this is at the heart of yoga, right? Yoga is meant to you understand truth, and the truth sets you free, right? You understand I'm not my body. You understand I'm not my mind. You understand that happiness doesn't come through anything external. You understand my nature is such at ananda. That's all truth. I'm not perceiving it right now. What's in the way? My material attachments. I still want to be the center. I still want to. I was for some reason this song came into my head.
Let's sing it.
Just say goodbye to Hollywood. That song, say goodbye to Hollywood.
Kaustubha's singing it now.
And I don't even know.
It's
if that
Bizarro
song-
Day.
I was just
Everything's
thinking of
backwards.
I was just thinking of the title, right? I thought this is actually such a great title for a song. I don't even know exactly what the song's about. I don't even know the lyrics.
Truth.
But the song "Say Goodbye to Hollywood," to me, what that represents is like, why do people go to Hollywood?
Depends what they're.
I'm asking for a general. Give me a general. Obviously, different people go there
To fulfill their dharma of acting.
Well, I don't see exactly
probably to be
that way.
dharmic, perhaps.
I would say they go to. Mayor's like,
kidding.
what the hell are you talking about?
Kelly Skinner's like, oh no.
You go there to become a star, right? You go there
yeah.
because you have a desire to become a star. And what is
It's
a
my
star?
turn.
What is a star? A star is like I'm the center of attraction. And what is it? What is an attractor? An attractor is Krishna. Krishna literally means to become the all-attractive one.
I'm going to Hollywood to become Krishna. That's what's going on.
That's my point. You're going.
I want to be the center. I always knew I was the center, and now people are going to know. I'm going to stake my claim. I'm going to step into those shoes. I'm going to step into my power.
Well, yeah, my power as being the attractor, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are the stories of Hollywood, right? It's mostly stories. It's broken dreams, right? It's like,
or sometimes it's fulfilled dreams.
But even when they become fulfilled,
Oh, you're such a pessimist.
Materially pessimistic, spiritually optimistic. So even when you go there, it becomes like you can't, like, even for the vast majority never become stars, or they become like they're doing commercials, or they're doing whatever it is, like it's their dream was never fulfilled.
What are those called? Talkovers, stepovers.
I don't know.
Voiceovers. Stepovers.
So you go there with these dreams to become the attractor.
Well, it's like a lottery, man. Going to Hollywood.
You gotta let me speak, okay? Just let me like get this little bit out, and then you can run as far as you want. Okay.
All right, go.
Go. You go there with a desire. Your desire is to become the all attractive one, to become, quote unquote, Krishna, right? To become all attractive, but does that desire ever really get fulfilled? It's like usually the vast majority, it never gets fulfilled. And even for those that when like the desire to become the star is fulfilled, you still don't get that happiness, that bliss that you're searching for. You compromised your principles to get there. You had to endure so much. There's so much corruption. There's so much disappointment. And then you say goodbye to Hollywood, right? Like you say goodbye to your dreams.
Which is what me
become the attractor.
Me and Jim Carrey often say.
Mm-hmm. I wish.
I hope that people, right? You know it. Say it.
I wish that everyone could become rich and famous and have all their desires fulfilled, just so that they could see that it doesn't actually make you happy.
Yes, me and Jim Carrey say that on a regular basis, but it means a little bit more when he says it because he's actually rich and famous. But it's one of those things, because that is one of the God-shaped hole. You think if I become validated by everybody, then I will be whole. And if I could just get to that next level of validation, on the puny level we're doing with our Instagram followers, but the people who are like really going for it in those industries of music and actor, they feel like I just got to get to the next level. I'm almost there. I just got to work hard. I got to push through, and they have all these stories. And then they'll be at this place. And the interesting thing is, even if you get to that place, that hole will never satisfy. To fulfill that God-shaped hole with fame will never quench the thirst.
So true. And so therefore, at one point or another, we all have to say goodbye to Hollywood, right? We all have to say goodbye to our desire to become the star, to become the attractor, to become Krishna. The point is do we go, and we're reading about these last 3 chapters have all been about the cycles of birth and death, lifetime after lifetime. I'm trying to go to Hollywood. I'm trying to go to Hollywood. And each time we have to say goodbye to it, at least at the time of death, right? We go through disappointments in life. At the very least, at the time of death, all that you've achieved to try to become the center of attraction, to center of adoration, is ripped from you. So you can either say goodbye to Hollywood, either have it ripped from you, or you can let go of it and say, I don't need to be the star of this show. Actually, I'm happy to be attracted, right? Let me be attracted to that all attractive one who is Krishna. And so we just all got to let go,
Sometimes in the name of getting that validation, we do really horrible things too, just to get there. We transgress our own principles, our own values, because we feel like, well, if I can just get there, then I won't have to. Then I'll be different. But
that's the metaphorical casting couch in the analogy.
That's the metaphor. Yeah, it's the Faustian bargain, Kaustubha.
Oh, nice, right?
The Faustian bargain. But yeah, and we already have diamond in our hands, this connection with God. And we trade in that diamond for some broken glass. We think, well, if I can, forget this diamond, I'm going to just throw that over there. There's a bigger diamond. Right. And we get there. We pick it up, we grip it, and it's actually glass, and it slices up our hand. I thought I was getting something so much greater, and I've given it away.
And through hearing Sweet Baby Krishna, through hearing the pastimes of Krishna, in others, where does it all culminate, right? Where does Bhagavatam culminate? And when we say Bhagavatam culminates, it means all the Vedic literature, because all the Vedic literature culminates in Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam culminates in the 10th canto, which is Sweet Baby Krishna. 10th canto culminates in the Rasa dance, where everyone is dancing around Radha and Krishna, right? But they're getting the ultimate loving reciprocation. They're experiencing the deepest love in their heart. They're receiving the deepest love coming back at them. We just had to let go of the Hollywood idea and let go, I want to be in the center of the Rasa dance. No. It's you're perfectly situated. You're actually, even this, I remember once I was with my Guru Maharaj and Hridayananda Maharaj. And, Hridayananda Maharaj is such a linguist and such a Sanskrit expert.
It's a philologist.
Yeah. And they were talking about this term manjari. All right. Which is, what is a manjari?
It's a young, prepubescent assistant of the gopis.
No, but but a manjari, what is it in the botanical, as a botanical?
A botanical manjari?
Yeah.
It's the little leaves of the Tulsi plant.
It means a little bud, right? It's like the little bud. Of so many types of plants, right? But in other words, when you see a plant grow and then between the leaves outgrows that little bud, right? And it's very delicate, right? And when the plant shakes, that manjari, that bud, shakes more than the rest of the plant. It shakes the most.
Ah, okay. Right? Interesting.
So what they were explaining was that the manjaris, these are the gopis, that they're young. You're right. They're younger, and their whole mood is not to be Krishna's lover, but it's actually to facilitate the love of Radha and Krishna, right? So normally we want to be that one in the center. The manjaris, they're not thinking that way, and even just this is the very esoteric side of bhakti. I don't want to go too far into it, but my point is that it's said that what they experience through facilitating Radha and Krishna's love, they actually feel more than anyone. In other words, because they're like the Manjaris, right? They're called the Manjaris. When they shake more than anything else, like they feel that love, even more so. And so really, like, when this philosophy gets very esoteric, it gets to that point that understanding, I don't need to be the center. I want to serve the center. And actually, when I serve, not only serve the center directly, but when I serve the servant of the center, that's even better. When I serve the servant
you're
of the
bringing
servant.
it down. You're bringing it down.
Right.
You started esoteric, and you're bringing it right down to a basic spiritual behavior in the material world that helps you become evolved. You want to serve the servants of the center.
That's right. Yeah, letting go, letting go, saying goodbye to Hollywood, letting go of trying to be the attractor, and fully embracing the idea that my fulfillment is found through service. And then actually, like a Manjari, you actually experience the deepest happiness and the deepest bliss.
I'm starting to realize that every song in the material world can become made, practically can be made Krishna conscious. Ever do you like that?
Let's just not do it right now.
When you were saying Krishna's asking you to dance with me, I want to be you. Krishna is asking, dance with me, dance with me, and I'm like, no, I want to dance with Maya. And Krishna's saying, no, dance with me.
That's
any
another
song, especially love song, you can make them all Krishna conscious.
You definitely can.
Just replace yes. Okay.
Now we got to finish this chapter though. Otherwise I would be fully ready. As a matter of fact, how about in the airport and on the flight, we just transform every song we can.
We have an incredible flight. Look who's on our flight. You, me, Bobby, Rocco, my son. Hannah
Mara,
Brinkhouse.
don't forget Mara. Mara's like, hello. Mara's going to be there.
Aminar Priya, Amalini.
Gita Priya. Yeah.
There's more.
Is there?
I think that's
so.
everyone.
I think you got everything.
Okay. But
You never know. There might be other people that are on that trip that we don't know about. Could be on it.
Bet there are. Okay. It's going to be a good Krishna conscious plane ride. All right. Text 30. The perfect knowledge can be achieved by a person who is already engaged in devotional service with faith, steadiness, and full detachment. I think I already read this.
Yeah, but this
was always
so
absorbed in thought of the Supreme.
These are the qualities for the truth perception. Now
31.
we hear about the disqualifications. I think they're coming up.
My dear mother, I have already described the path of understanding the absolute truth, by which one can come to understand the real truth of matter and spirit and their relation.
The real truth of matter and spirit and the relationship, right? This is called jnana. I understand what is spirit, what is matter, right? I am spirit, my body is matter.
Philosophical research culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Just hold right there just one second. When it says like that, philosophical research, it means the practice of jnana, right? It's that term philosophical research right here is referring to, what the Upanishads teach and so on, through analysis, trying to understand what is real and what's beyond. And that's
amazing.
Where does that culminate? It doesn't culminate with the impersonal energy of God. It culminates in the person God.
The thing about philosophical research in the West, it just culminates in, I don't know, maybe this is like this. Yes, maybe this is like this. It's just like it culminates in just speculating.
And defeating the previous speculator.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking, and this should be like this. And it just, there's no end to it.
Right.
All right. Philosophical research culminates in understanding the personality of Godhead. After achieving this understanding, becomes free from material modes of nature, they attain the stage of bhakti, devotional service. Either by devotional service directly or by philosophical research, one has to find the same destination. There we go, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here Kapila, he's wrapping up his teachings. He taught Sankhya here, right? The breaking down of what is the material realm, recognizing how spirit is separate from it, a very important philosophical process in yoga. Now, historically, another Kapila came along, right, as well as other philosophers, and they taught Sankhya, taking the personality of Godhead out of the picture. But here is the original teacher of Sankhya in Bhagavatam, and he's saying, no, it all culminates with connecting with that supreme person. The value of this is not only that it will liberate you from material sufferings, there's much more to it. And that is connecting with that Supreme Person.
There's so many, if you're, flick on the news or read Time Magazine, there's so many people espousing philosophies, politics, or forget politics, we're into health, whatever it is. The goal of all your thinking of what the world is, like this is what the world is to me, whatever it is, it should culminate in your relationship with the divine and the way you treat everybody as if they were divine as well. Otherwise, it's a shrama eva hi kevalam. It's a useless waste of time. This is where we're going with all this stuff. It's all supposed to bring us to Krishna. Text 33. A single object is appreciated differently by different senses due to its having different qualities. Similarly, the personality of Godhead is one, but according to different scriptural injunctions, he appears to be different.
Mm-hmm.
34 to 36.
What's the old analogy for that?
The train is coming.
Oh, I suppose that's one. I was thinking of
the train is coming. You can't see it. It's sort of blurry. Oh, the elephant. You touch his nose. You're like, oh, what's this elephant like? Well, it's a long, snaky thing. No. Touch the ear. Oh, it's a long, flappy thing. Oh, no. Touch the leg. Oh, it's a big, sturdy pillar thing. No, it's an elephant. It's all those things. Right. Different vantage points.
So what this text is saying, text 33, is through yoga, one may perceive God differently. Someone may engage in jnana yoga intensely, right? They may remove themselves from society, wander off to the forest, live austerely, and contemplate, do different exercises and different meditations, and contemplate their own separateness from everything that's material. And if they're successful at that very difficult process, they may have an experience of a feature of God called Brahman, right? This all pervasive, and when they experience that, and that experience is very profound, right? It's like sudden relief from all material suffering, and then you're like, this is it. I've connected to God. I am God. I am this energy. All there is this energy. Now, what this verse is saying is that's just one feature, just like the person that's touching the trunk of the elephant, and someone says, what is the elephant? Well, the elephant is this like long thing.
Snaky tube.
Yeah, it's like the snaky tube, right? But it's like, well, you think that the elephant is limited to being a snaky tube because you're only perceiving one feature of it. But if you but understand that feature, as well as the feature of the Paramatma within the heart, all the different features, as well as the feature of the material realm, the energy of the material realm. And some people say that's all there is, right? No, it's all coming from the person. So when you understand, when you can step back and see the entire elephant, you understand, yes, the elephant, part of the elephant is long and snaky, but it's also big, and it also got that skinny tail, and it's got the big foot, and it's got all these things. Well, Krishna has all these things. He has his impersonal feature. He has his feature within the heart. He has his material energy, but ultimately he has his own personal form from which all of the others come from.
Text 34 to 36. Ready?
Yeah. Now, I'll just preface this. What these verses are going to do, they're going to list all the different types of practices that come out of the Vedic literature. Different yogic practices, different social practices, and so on. And again, showing that they're all meant for one purpose. He's concluding his teachings here now. And so he's saying all of them are for one purpose. They all go towards realizing that person. Just so you don't misunderstand it. You might have misunderstood if you read just the Upanishads. But now we're at the Bhagavatam, which is the culmination. And to clarify the point, when I wrap up my teachings, I'm telling you that everything that's within the Vedic teachings is all meant to lead to that person, sweet baby Krishna.
By performing fruitive activities and sacrifices, by distributing charity, by performing austerities, right? These are all things people do in a religious or spiritual context, right? By performing austerities, by studying various literatures, by conducting philosophical research, by controlling the mind, by subduing the senses, by accepting the renounced order of life, by performing the prescribed duties of one's social order, right? Being dharmic, by performing the different divisions of yoga practice, by performing devotional service, by exhibiting the process of devotional service containing the symptoms of both attachment and detachment, by understanding the science of self-realization, and by developing a strong sense of detachment. One who is expert in understanding the different processes of self-realization realizes the personality of Godhead as he is represented in the material world as in transcendence.
As well as in transcendence.
As well as in transcendence, yeah.
Your mic just went out for a second there. Yeah, so there you go. He's concluding and just saying, don't get caught. He's telling his mother, now we're at the conclusion. Now I'm trying to help you understand what it's all about. One would be wise not to misunderstand the purpose of all the different Vedic teachings, that ultimately they're all leading in one direction. In this way, you could say all paths lead to one thing, right? If you understand where they're meant to go. Right. But if you think that path is the end in itself, then you never get to the end of it.
Yeah. It's not just moving forward. It's moving forward with the direction. We can be moving forward and be heading south, west, north. So yeah, we have to drop the pin, so to speak, at Krishna Bhakti, loving service to the Supreme. That naturally brings out all good qualities. Naturally, we want to see everybody as part of God. Naturally, we want to treat everybody with this great dignity because they're spiritual beings. And it should bring us to loving service to the personality of Godhead. Therefore, all these things have use. Yoga has use. Cleansing has use, right?
Charity.
Detachment, charity. But we can do all those things for arrogant reasons, for mixed desires, to make a statement, whatever.
I mean, and commonly those things are in the general categories is for material enjoyment. I do my charity so that I get things in this world, right?
Sure.
Or for relief from the suffering of this world, for mukti, right? That. I think all of this leads to just a negation of everything that's painful in life. But no, it's actually, there's more to it, right? Some people also do it for mystic powers, right? So you have the karmis, the gyanis, the yogis, but ultimately it all leads to bhakti.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure our path isn't a dead end, stopping somewhere before we get to, right? Yep. We always say that, right? New York to LA, don't stop off in Scranton and just hang there.
Even
There's
though it's
a destination.
A very nice place, and a lot of great bands come from there, apparently, too.
A great place, but we're not here to be in Scranton. We got to go all the way over, 3,000 miles west. My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of bhakti, or devotional service, and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I've explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing, I like this, is chasing the living entities. Ever feel like you're chased by, that's a good name for a band or a song. Chased by time. Okay. Chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. Mm-hmm. That is a great phrase.
Well, we heard about that. Where did we hear about that? The first verse of the last chapter, right? And where it said again that we're just like clouds don't understand that they're being blown all around the sky by the wind. We're being blown around by time.
Mm. There are now, so basically he's summing up everything he taught. There are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or in forgetfulness of his real identity. I've been there, done that.
So again, there are varieties of material existence. I may be a human. I may be an animal. I may be a plant. There's so many different varieties, right, of material existence. And they come according to our karma, the work that we've done and that we performed. That work may be done in ignorance. I don't know what I'm doing. Or forgetfulness of one's real identity. Okay.
Lord Kapila continued.
No, my dear mother.
Oh, my dear mother, if anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end.
Right. You go all round and around. You're hell one day, you're in heaven the next day, you're up, down, all around.
You're in a bulb of a tulip, you know? What the hell am I doing here? Wouldn't that be horrible? Being a tulip?
Well, it doesn't perceive so much, you know. It's like, but there's pain.
All of a sudden, the sheep are coming. You're like, oh crap! Here come the sheep! No, sheep are just like crunch.
Okay.
Lord Kapila continued. The instruction is not meant for the envious, for the agnostics, or for the persons who are unclean in their behavior. Nor is it for hypocrites or for persons who are proud of material possessions.
Okay, this is all real important. Now we're hearing about the disqualifications, then we're going to hear about the qualifications for truth perception, specifically perception of that supreme person. What will prevent me? What will get in the way of my perceiving God as a person?
Want to break these down? Want to
And it said, yeah, and it said in a sense like, don't teach this to people that are like this because they won't understand it. Their truth perception is so blocked that it actually won't even help them, right? They might even just like, it's kind of like saying pearls before the swine in a sense, right? Like,
right.
It won't be appreciated. So he says the envious, and I, that means those who have antagonism, particularly towards the idea of God, I would assume is especially meant here. For the agnostics, people that have no faith in the existence of God, or those that are unclean in their behavior, nor for hypocrites, or for persons who are proud of their material possessions. These will all block that perception. It won't work. It won't be appreciated. Mm-hmm. There's other things that can be shared with them to whatever level they are able to appreciate. But, teaching about Krishna's Leela and so on, that they won't understand. Who else should it not be instructed to? Text 40.
Who else is not going to understand this? It's not to be instructed to people who are proud of being chefs in Columbia County. It is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, nor to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees of the personality of Godhead.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, then who should we speak this to? Who will get it?
Instruction should be given to the faithful devotee who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, and eager to render service with faith and sincerity. This instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken the supreme personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, who are not envious of anyone, and who are perfectly cleansed and who have developed attachment for that outside the purview of Krishna consciousness.
Okay, this is great stuff. So text 41 and 42 shared a lot of information. It's given in a particular context. Share this he's telling his mother, share instruction about Krishna with these kind of people because they have the potential to understand it and benefit from it. And but we can also understand them as like, what do I need to embody myself in order to deepen my understanding of this, in order to deepen my perception of God? So it began with being faithful, Shraddha, and respectful to the spiritual master, right? Being respectful to those people that have it. Being, if one's not, that's what, anyway, in so many ways the etiquette is there, how to show respect, because it cultivates that mood. Non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, right? All kinds, not just like I respect those that are also in my religion or, that are, no, every living entity, right? All kinds. And eager to render service with faith and sincerity, as well as what was mentioned. This is really big, and this is something that we all have to look into our own hearts, right? This instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken the supreme personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, right? Like that.
Prioritizing our desires.
Yeah, right? That becomes really what I live for. That becomes my focus, right? More dear. I'll let go of this. I'm willing to let go of that. If I have to let go of this to deepen my understanding of Krishna, I'm willing to let go of it. That's what it means when the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes more dear than anything, right? Otherwise, it's like, I'm not willing to give that up to deepen my understanding.
Right. We always get asked that question too. What do you want more? What do you want more? What do you want more? When you get to that point of really eager, I just want you, Krishna. And that's why Krishna works in that way. When they say that when Krishna loves you, he takes everything away because he leaves you with no Krishna. All I want is you. The material world, we have these mishaps or reversals in the material world. And we're thinking, oh, why? And they think, oh, Krishna, I just want you. These things, I thought they would satisfy me. They don't satisfy me. I just want you. And you get to that point, you become perfectly ripe to understand all this stuff. Otherwise, it seems like, well, I want Krishna, but I want water parks. They're both good. Krishna's good. Water parks are good. Right. And so
yeah. Yeah.
I told that to Kelly Skinner yesterday, who is a junior Olympic skier. She was like,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, now she's not a junior any longer, but she was a junior Olympic skier. She was just like, God, maybe I'm a stool eating hog too, because I love skiing. I said, no, you're not, but maybe.
So, what was I going to say? This instruction imparted, non-envious. Oh yeah, I was just thinking, as we've mentioned even in the show, life can be so hard, it's so rough, so tough. We have friends right now that are in the hospital, friends that are, just going through it in different ways. And in one sense, what the devotee does, with the person that's been steadily, reading Bhagavatam, hearing it, steadily practicing its teachings, steadily chanting their mantras and their meditations, as this begins to mature and deepen, we're able to go through those difficult times and see them as what they're doing is exactly this, right? It's like, I hold something dear and now Krishna's going to take it from me so that I can hold on to him as more dear than anything. And it's through that churning that one begins to realize, all I want is Krishna. All I want is Krishna, right? Krishna is actually Krishna that's dear to me. And at a certain, people can sit there in life and say, it's just all getting ripped away from me. And then, but you're like, that's okay. We read a verse yesterday. I forget exactly what it said. What did we read where it said, I forget, but it was it was an interesting verse that talked about how it had something to do with how you perceive. There's two different ways to perceive things. And as you advance, I wish I could go back and get it quick. But my point is that as this matures in you, as through reflection on all that we hear every day in practice, as it begins to mature in you, then even when nature gets brutal, time gets brutal, what it's doing to you is, rather than making you harder or more cynical or just feeling vulnerable, you actually begin to feel invulnerable because you're attached to Krishna, and that becomes more dear to you than anything. So, like, there's verses in the Gita that describe, like in the 6th chapter, where it describes that higher realization, where one's begin to experience the true nature of the self, and one experiences bliss in that nature. And then it mentions that you begin to feel that this is most dear. Let me pull that up. I'm going to pull that up, okay?
Pull it up.
It's verses that I feel really describe where yoga can go. It's not like the absolute deepest level, but it's a more general description of where yoga goes in its higher stages. So it mentions, in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by the practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, right? Their truth perception is perfectly clear. And upon gaining this, they think there's no greater gain. Nothing is more dear to me than this connection I have to this mantra, right? Nothing is more dear to me than this connection I have to this, to Krishna's pastimes, to his form, and so on. So established as one never departs from the truth. Upon gaining this, they think there's no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So that's where this leads.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
We have one more verse to read, my friend.
And it's a beautiful verse. This is the false shruti of Kapila Dev's teachings. All the past 4 chapters that we've read, 4 or 5 chapters that we've read, if you listen to it with faith and affection, then this is what is gained.
Anyone who meditates upon me with faith and affection.
Hold it. Anyone who
once meditates, once meditates upon me with faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to Godhead. Boom. That's it.
There you go. Yeah. It's that, and that's kind of like, well, I just heard it. Am I done? Like, but that these false shrutis, these false shrutis, false shruti means the fruit of hearing, what you gain through hearing this. And it's kind of like that thing, like, simply by a spark, entire big mound of hay can light up, right? But that hay has to dry out a little bit it has to become dry, and then even just a tiny spark. So anyone who once meditates on me with faith and affection, that will happen when when our hearts, the hay of our hearts, let's say, has become more dry.
Hay of the
one
hearts.
spark. We're hay of the hearts from.
We're the opening band, Hay of the Hearts.
Yeah. Everyone's like, what?
Bring on Trap Dancer.
So as we practice, it can become like that. Then we'll just chant one mantra, right? We'll hear one pastime, and whoo, it'll all light
We'll
up.
ignite.
It'll ignite. Okay, we got just one more chapter to finish up this entire canto, and we're going to do it tomorrow.
Isn't it exciting?
Yeah.
We have one day to finish the canto for the end of the year.
Yeah.
How perfect. We couldn't have planned that better.
Well, we kind of did plan it.
We did plan it. Okay. That's what I meant to say. We planned it perfectly.
Well, because it got close, so then we decided to plan it. Yeah. Mariji,
Yes.
any takeaways today?
Yeah, we have some good ones today. As we get purified, we lose taste for our stool eating.
Okay,
Nice.
That's
I'd
a
wear
great
that
t-shirt.
shirt, my friend.
That's a wonderful t-shirt.
That could be our best-selling shirt.
Will there be an image there with it as well? The hog?
Our enjoyments are low grade, get a taste for something higher.
Yeah.
Attachment clouds truth perception.
It does.
Yeah.
You can't put fame in the God-shaped hole.
No.
Serving the servant of the center is the highest.
Is what?
The highest.
The highest.
Serving the servant is still higher than even serving the center. Serving the servant of the center.
Say goodbye to Hollywood.
Now, is that a song already? Say goodbye to Hollywood?
Yeah, we were just talking about it for half the show.
How does it go?
Say goodbye to Hollywood.
Who sings it?
Goodbye, my baby.
Billy Joel, I think.
Yeah, Billy Joel.
Billy Joel? How did I miss that Billy Joel song?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay.
Drop the pin at Krishna Bhakti.
Drop the panic.
Drop the pin.
Drop the pin. Okay.
Better?
Drop
was
the
you,
pin.
Raghu.
Krishna Bhakti. I said that. Okay.
Make Krishna the most dear. And ignite the hay of our hearts.
We're hay of the
How about
hearts.
dance with me?
No.
How about that one? That one didn't make the cut. Dance with me. Eternal time chases us. Chased by time.
That's a good one.
Chasing by time. Chased by time. Chased by time. Now dance with me.
How much was Parmananda involved in the songwriting process? Because he must have been a big part of it.
Dance with me. Chased by time. That is a great song, man. Chased
Which
by
one?
time. Why did I
Chased by
think of
Time.
that? Oh, everybody, the year is winding down.
It's almost there. It's almost done.
It's almost there. 2021. What a great year this has been. Oh, it's been a great year to surrender to Krishna. That's what it's good for. And now text 2020. Text 2022. Year 2022. Now that's going to be a great year.